right. Rakdos. Rakdos. I think Rakdos... I've already looked through the spoilers and everything. I think Rakdos is going to be... I think the people who play Rakdos are going to love... I think Rakdos has potential to be the next Red Deck Wins. I think it has a little more flavor than Red Deck Wins. Just kind of the flavor of the set in general, and then also just the... like, how they're doing damage to a degree. But I do have a feeling that you're going to see Rakdos and be like, oh, it's Rakdos burn, it's Rakdos aggro, shoot me in the face. Aggro is always going to exist, kind of got to deal with it. There's a lot of tools to deal with aggro currently. I'm not sure how I feel about the, like, circus thing they're going with, like the jesters and him being the showstopper. Not against it, I just don't know how I feel about it. Don't really care that much either way, but it's kind of an interesting flavor because Rakdos is like demons and fire and losing life, and they're like, it's a circus. A satanic circus, but it's a circus. So I'll be interested to see how this plays out. Rakdos is going to be good. I think Rakdos has a way to define some of the meta, and I think Red Deck Wins is still going to be good, but I think a lot of the Red Deck Wins are going to kind of go into... I'm looking at my Twitch chat right now, if you're watching this on YouTube or whatever, and Peef says, Octopus Crab meta begins today. We'll get to that, Peef. So Rakdos is a showstopper. We would spend a little more time on the mythics and kind of go over those and the thoughts there, and then kind of go... 6/6 flying trample. When he enters the battlefield, flip a coin for each creature that isn't a demon, devil, or imp, and destroy each creeper. Each creature whose coin flip comes up tails. The RNG of that card is a little frustrating. But it's fun. And if you're playing in the right deck, then it's just on average, destroy half of their creatures. Destroy half of their creatures. He's good. I don't know that he'll see a ton of play just because 6 mana is not unplayable, but 6 mana you have to you typically want to either... You could see some control variants come out with him maybe as a win condition. So you play black, red, blue control. There already is that exists. What is that, Grixis? Am I right on that? I think I'm bad at the 3-color name. Hell, I'm bad at the 2-color names. I think is that Grixis? I think it's Grixis. Whatever. It's black, red, blue control, and you could see him as a win condition potentially. So we shall see. I think he's fun. He's good. He's a good card for the set. How much play he sees could be a lot, could be none. Captive Audience. This is one of the most fun cards in the set. It sucks that it's good that it's a mythic. I don't think it's a good card, but I think it's super fun. I'm glad it exists. There's going to be a lot of jank decks out there. So basically, 7 mana, you give them this enchantment, and then at the beginning of that player's upkeep, they have to choose one of these 3 options that are all terrible. And then they have to do those each turn for the next 3 turns. Life total becomes 4. Discard your hand. Each player creates 5 zombies. So this card's never going to get played against control, because they will just counter it. Excuse me. Life total becoming 4 is what you don't want. The zombies can be deal-withable in certain situations, and discarding your hand... It's either that's probably the first one you're going to see if it's against somebody else that's, because by that time you probably don't have a hand or you're playing control and you just counter it. So you probably see discard your hand the least, or discard your hand the most. Life total becomes 4. So if it's been playing against me, I'm probably either countering or discard my hand, and then the zombies, and then my life total. So it's fun. If you get it as a mythic, you're not happy about it, but you go, I'm going to make a jank deck out of it. And I like that it encourages that. It sucks that it's mythic. Judas Scourge Diva, legendary, 2/2 for 3. Other creatures you control get 1/0. Whenever a non-creature control dies. Very good. She's going to she's great because she has impact. These turns she comes on the board. Turn 1 and 2, you play creatures. Turn 3, throw her down. You get more damage out of them. And then if they block, then they're taking damage, or, if they don't block, then they're taking more damage. They may have to wait a turn to lava coil her, or, obviously they have the shock, they can deal with that. But she's usually getting at least 1 turn out, and then they have to deal with her. So running 4 of these in Rakdos, 3 to 4 of these is perfectly fine in my opinion. She can draw a lot of early hate. You're probably not going to see her around for more than one turn in a lot of situations, but she's going to have a lot of impact on that turn, and I think she plays really well as far as like generating tempo. Like this card a lot. Good flavor, being legendary, good casting cost. Really, really like this card. It's a fun card. As long as you're playing it. Guild Mage, whatever. 1 damage target opponent or Planeswalker. That's actually going to be useful to generate Spectacle. The discard, like, if you're getting that late with Rakdos where you have 4 mana to just drop, you're probably losing anyway. Going to be good in draft. Probably. Yeah, going to be good in draft. Constructed, maybe. Maybe not. But his 1 red is actually useful to generate Spectacle. So you do have that. But if you're having to generate Spectacle with a creature, you may already be behind the 8-ball anyway. So, like, you know, it is what it is. Let's see. Rakdos Firewheeler, 4/3 for 4. Once again, they're the mana cost thing. I like the organization here, by the way. A battlefield, 2 damage to target opponent, 2 damage to 1 target creature planeswalker. So this is like old school Flame Tongue Kavu. Probably not as good. Actually, definitively not as good, but still viable here. I don't know that you play 4 of these in Rakdos, but you might. You might not. You may have certain things you're trying to do there. Generate Spectacle, does direct damage, 4/3 for 4, so it's not like completely underpowered, and you don't feel good about blowing it up because they already got value out of it. So if they Lava Coil it, you still did things with it. Good card. I think you see in Rakdos, you see probably 2 of those in like different Rakdos decks. You could see 4. Bedevil, fantastic. This card is nuts. Artifact, creature, or planeswalker for 3 mana. Only thing it doesn't hit is enchantments, which black and red don't have strength of. Anyway, so do like Bedevil. You'll see 4 of those in a lot of, like, you can see 4 of them. 3 to 4 in most every Rakdos deck. You can start making black-red X control, which you will see a lot of those in. So very, very good. There's a lot of different options going around right now where you can do some crazy, crazy stuff. Let me throw 4 of those and 4 Mortifies in, like black, red, white control, and you could do whatever you want to at that point. I mean, you could run black, white, white control, run Rakdos himself. You can run. I mean, there's a lot of, you know, angels, or there's so many different things you could do. So black, red, white, I think has some potential just from like a mid-range removal standpoint. Very, very good. Theater of Horrors. Make sure you say that correctly, or you might be an asshole. Beginning of your upkeep, exile top card of your library. During your turn, opponent's lost life. This turn, you play cards exiled. So it's weird experimental frenzy is what it is. So casting cost is good. Like, I think this is a good card. I don't know that you're gonna play. I mean, you could play 4 of them. Obviously having multiple copies out isn't bad, but it's not great. So I think 2 to 3 of these in a lot of Rakdos decks. So you don't want to get too many things where you're not aggroing. Answered a couple questions here in Twitch chat. When is the set available for everyone in Magic? It should be available in the game. I think it may be down right now. I don't know. But it should be available in the next couple hours, depending on when they start patching. From my understanding is the game was going to patch like now or in like an hour or so, and then may take an hour or 3 to patch. So it just kind of depends. The game should be up here soon. Would imagine it being up soon. So wanted to answer a question in Twitch chat. This may be going up on YouTube. Probably going up on YouTube. Figure I'd do some like predictions sure to go wrong, because all these predictions are going to go wrong. So Fireblade Artist, 2/2 for 2 haste. If you need to sacrifice a creature, it is during your upkeep, so you can guarantee you generate for game is officially down. Only been taking an hour or so. Nice. So we should be up and playing sooner rather than later, hopefully. So Fireblade Artist, 2/2 haste for 2, so going to be fine. And then with an ability that you may or may not use a lot, but it does give you a guaranteed way of generating Spectacle. Good creature. You'll see him a lot. Hackerbat, kind of a fun name. They're being a little punny, which hit or miss, whatever. 3 mana, 2/3. Spectacle, you can cast it for 2 if you need. Death Touch, and +2/-2. I think you'll see play. A 2/3 for 2 with abilities in the right deck. In the first turn, you're probably going to be able to play. I mean, there's a lot of creatures that you can play. I mean, even Firebrand still does the thing. So, a lot of ways you'll see. I think you'll see this could be a staple in Rakdos because if you let it, if they unblock it, like it's 4 damage. Well, they may waste burn or direct damage on it as well, but that's still not the end of the world either. So 2/3 for 2 in most ideal situations, and still has abilities. Even a 2/3 for 3 with 2 abilities, you don't feel terrible about it. Macabre Mockery, 4 mana, target creature from opponent's graveyard, battlefield under your control, gets 2/0 haste, and sacrifice it. It's an instant, so you can pull some tricks out, but it's a dead card versus anything that's not creatures. So I think it's sideboard, but I don't know if it's impactful enough of a sideboard to be a sideboard card. I think this card is in the middle of a lot of different things. I love the flavor. I love the instant creature control sort of thing because you do have a lot of things you can do with it. But it requires them A, to play creatures, B, to have that creature in their graveyard, C, you need 4 mana and to do it, which isn't a big deal, but you can use it offensively, but it feels bad kind of offensively. To me, it's a defensive card or a finisher, but it's also so conditional. I think you'll see decks that, I think new players or, early in the set, in draft, it's really good, by the way. You'll see this a lot in draft. But I think it's better in limited than it is in constructed. In constructed, it's a sideboard card, but I think it won't make the cut in a lot of sideboards just because there's better stuff. Prediction sure to go wrong, obviously. Get to the point. It's good and limited. That's all I got. 5 mana, destroy target creature. There's way better ways you can go about that. Scry 1's nice. 4/2 for 4, Spectacle 5, and if you pay 4 or pay 5 for it, they discard a card. You'll never see it in. It's another demon, so you could do Liliana's Contract things, but just don't play it. Not terrible. Just there's more impactful things at 5. Draft, maybe. 3/2 for 3. When it comes to block deals, my name is. It's fine in draft. You might see it played a little in some lower tier constructed just to generate spectacle. Probably still better options. Not terrible. Ogre Warrior, he doesn't have any tribal things that are great. Foolish Fiend, 1/1. When it dies, deals 1 damage to any target. I think that's good. You'll see that. You could see it get splashed into. I don't know if you'll see it in red deck wins or not, or red aggro, but he generates spectacle. If you need spectacle generated, he just generates it. Spawn of Mayhem. I think this is arguably one of the best cards in the set. You're going to see it all over the place. I mean, a 4/4 flying trample for 4 with an ability is already kind of nonsense. It's a demon, so there's demon things already going on, and you can spectacle it out for 3. This is going to be. It's going to catch more lava coils than anything else at this point. Lava coils on lava coils on lava coils. So if you're playing Rakdos or you're playing anything black, you're just going to see this, and it's not legendary or anything. So it's just going to. This is going to be that card that is fun to play because if you're playing it, you like playing aggressive or whatever. But a 4/4 flying trample on turn 3 is very difficult. Update drops. The update should drop within, from what I understand, within the next hour, barring no issues. You just never know on that kind of stuff, though. So if everything goes well, next hour. From my understanding, next hour. If not, be prepared for worst case scenario. 2 or 3 hours. But I think they wanted it to be within the next hour. So doesn't always go that well. Drill bit. Spectacle for 1. Pay 3 if you don't spectacle. Reveal hand, non-land card. So it's conditional, better duress. By the way, the flavor text is great. The art is fantastic. By the way, the art's been really good this set too. I think that's worth mentioning if that's kind of what you're going after for there. So I think this will see play. It's going to be very frustrating to be played against you to literally lose everything in your hand. But it really kind of screws over control quite a bit. So I think that's going to be good there as well. Blade Juggler, once again, I 3/2 for 3, and then you draw the card. I think that's useful. The 3/2 for 5, not so much. This has uses. I think early on, people are going to try and work this into different sort of spectacle decks. Whether or not it actually stays there or not, I think is going to be, it could or it could not. I guess any card could or could not, but Anger at the low-key best card in Rakdos. Interesting take on that. But yeah, I think Blade Juggler you're going to see a lot early on, and then it could either stick or it may not. Dead Revels. Spectacle for 2, return 2 target creatures from your graveyard to your hand. It's graveyard return, so it's fine. 2 to return 2 is good. You basically get find in common form, conditional find in common form. Sure. Okay. 1/3 for 2 menace, and it's gonna be okay in in limited. Probably never seen constructed. 2/2 for 2, spectacle 4. In a battlefield, discard a card, then draw a card, and if you spectacled it, discard your hand and draw 3 cards. A fun card, I think will see some use, because you still get the 2/2 for 2 that you can play on curve, or you can spectacle and do some bigger things with. So probably see it in maybe a mid-range Rakdos, if such a thing exists. And you may even see it in a little bit more aggro. At 2 mana, there's a little more aggressive drops that you can do, but it does generate the card draw. If you're trying to discard engine of some sort or reanimation, maybe you try fit this in there, but I think it's going to have uses. If you get this as a rare, you're not going to feel bad. You're not going to be like, oh, hell yeah, I got this card. You'd probably feel pretty alright about it, unless you're planning on this building around it already. Light up the stage. Spectacle for 1. Exile top 2 cards of your library until end of next turn. You may play those cards. So it's pseudo card draw, and I think that's fine in red. I think this is going to see some play. Card draw in red that isn't you discard stuff is pretty good. You already have the Madness, whatever. I'm been bad with the card names lately. I'm trying to get better. 2 mana, draw 2, discard 1, or whatever. This, in the decks that it plays, is going to be better than that, but it's more conditional, obviously, so I think you're going to see this. I think you'll see Light Up the Stage. I don't know if you're playing 4 copies, but I don't know that you're not playing 4 copies. This card you're going to see all the time, and you're going to see it in Limited a lot. I think you're going to see it in Constructed as well. Good card. What change? I'm gonna answer some Twitch questions here real quick if you're watching this on YouTube. So, what changes will the YouTube update make to the 5th copy problem? So, from my understanding, and they put out something on the Reddit and also on their main site. I usually go to the Reddit because I'm just kind of used to it. The 5th copy problem, I think they're doing the protection on it. So, if you already have 4 copies of something, you can't generate mythic or rare. You don't generate if you open a pack and you already have 4 copies of something, it doesn't generate a pack that has that in it. And then there's certain situations, I guess, in where you, if you have everything, I think, then you generate gems. I don't know, I forget the specifics on that, but basically, they came up with a pretty good solution. So, everybody's kind of happy. And Blitz, yes, I do plan on playing with TK at some point. Just kind of depends on how that works out. I think we're almost done here. Way it works, if you get a card that is 5th copy of a rare mythic, it will reroll into another, and if you have everything, it will give you 20. That's what I was trying to say, but you typed it out and made it better. So, solution is, I think, very good, and free-to-play games doing this kind of stuff right is a very, very, very big deal, so very happy to see they're doing it right. Let's see. Bedek. Kind of an interesting name. Target creature gets +3, -3 till end turn. I think that's actually really good, because there's a lot of different things you can do with that. I mean, there's 2 different things you can do with it, but it's creature removal in a pinch. Gets by indestructible, so Adanto Vanguards have a lot of trouble dealing with this. Are there any other 3 toughness indestructible that you're worried about? maybe, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. And then 6 mana, destroy target non-basic land, deals 2 damage to target opponent or plays target. Like, meh at 6 mana, but Bedeck is actually very useful. And in Rakdos, like, cool. Carnival deals 1 damage to target creature or planeswalker and 1 damage to target player's controller. That's good. Obviously generates Spectacle. 3 damage to target opponent. That player discards 2 cards. Also playable. I like this card a lot. You're going to see probably a decent amount of this. You can use it as a finisher, you can use it as tempo, you can use it as spectacle generation. It does exactly what Rakdos is trying to do. So, we rated Azorius and Orzhov at about a 7 or a 7.5 as far as like overall power and overall... I don't know, like the scale's so bad. I'm just giving numbers for the sake of giving numbers so you guys can bitch about them. This, I don't know how powerful it's going to be, but I think Rakdos being more prevalent and having an identity now and having, like, I don't know that, like, what Orzhov did really changed its identity from the last set. Like, Orzhov's been, you got vampires, you got some life gain, and you got some control stuff. It got more control stuff, and it got a little bit more of everything. Cool. Azorius did change its identity a little bit, but you still got some good control cards. You got a new counter spell, you got some life gain. So they changed, but they're trying to do a little more tempo-y sort of thing with some, more cost-efficient flyers. Rakdos was kind of like, you had the pseudo-Rakdos burn deck that people were playing, and which I ran into like twice. I think Rakdos kind of gets a more of an identity than the other two this set, so, which I think is very good. So I'm kind of rating this at like, I'm going to rate it a little higher. The power level could end up being a little lower once once control just comes out and just goes, nah, dog, I'm not doing it. But I'm going to give it an 8. I think an 8, my rating of an 8, I think comes in with the flavor and the power level. I do think the power level, like, you're going to see a lot of Rakdos. People like playing aggro. Rakdos is going to make for quick games either way. Red-black it's got a cool theme. You're doing damage. You've got a lot of different things. And then, so yeah, Rakdos, you're going to see a lot. I think Rakdos, you're going to see an absolute shitload of Rakdos when the set drops here in soon. But yeah, so usually try and take a break, like a second break here between the analysis to talk to Chad a little bit. Play Allegiance is the code. I assume so. It was play Ravnica last time. I haven't seen the code. I imagine it'll be the code. Rakdos and Gruul best guilds. I think you're gonna have an argument to make for that, especially flavor wise. This set, I definitely think there is a potential for flavor-wise there. And also usefulness, because Gruul is just giving the great big old fuck you to control. So, is anybody mad about that? Mass of damage that allows these decks to work. I mean, I feel like, I don't think, like, Rakdos is definitely not lacking damage. Red and black already have good damage tools, and now you're adding actual things that are designed to work together. So, I think Rakdos is... I think especially, like, day one, which it is day one, I think you're going to see a lot of Rakdos. And I think a lot of the playable cards here are going to be... I mean, like, this is playable. Maybe not great, but uncommon, 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 uncommon. Fun, and some new players will play that, and it's playable in certain situations. When it's playable, it's good. When it's not playable, it's just garbage. Common. Mythic, like you do. Or uncommon. Common. Not exciting, but you can play it. Common. Uncommon. A 5/2 for 3 is not terrible. Uncommon. So you've got a lot of playable... this is what I was trying to say about Azorius, and I was wrong. But this has got some very good, at least like mid-tier, You've got playable cards at common and uncommon.